What's going on, guys? In today's video, I wanted to give you guys an update on where I've been and why I haven't been uploading recently. And then I wanted to go over the build that I'm planning to play for Season 2 and what my plans are for Season 2 as of right now. So as far as what happened there at the end of Season 1, I was in the process of leveling up a druid, um, but I think the build that I was using, I got pretty bored of. It wasn't really as engaging as I wanted it to be, and I got pretty bored of it. Um, Honestly, I just felt like I was kind of tired of using the barber, and with the druid, you really couldn't use much other than the barber because all of the hearts pretty much sucked, to be quite honest. So I got pretty bored of it, and I didn't really want to regrind for gear and aspects to kind of switch up the whole build. That kind of, I felt like that would have just burnt me out even more. I was like, I think level 90, like 92 or 3 or something. And I think the highest dungeon I cleared was like 90, T91 or something. Um, but yeah, I pretty much, I got bored of it and I couldn't keep forcing myself to play it. Um, I didn't really want to level another class either because I didn't really feel like that would be fun and would just burn me out even more also. So I just decided to take a break from Diablo 4 for a little bit. Um, so it's been about a month now, and I'm kind of feeling refreshed and ready to go for Season 2, which is dropping tomorrow. Um, so looking forward to Season 2. I am excited to get back in, check out all of the new stuff and the changes that they made to the game and to classes. It's nice to have something new to check out, and it's pretty refreshing. So I am going to be jumping back in for Season 2. For Season 2, I am planning to start out with the Sorcerer. I wanted to try out a different class here to start Season 2, mostly because I did play almost exclusively Rogue in preseason and Season 1. So I do want to just try a different class to make the game feel a little bit different for me and just to check out some new stuff. With the Sorc, I wanted to run a fire-based build. So what I'm going to try first starting out is a firebolt centered build where the idea is that I am spamming firebolt pretty much exclusively. Um, and with that, I am proccing firewalls through the firewall enchantment. And I will have hydras out that will be hitting stuff and doing damage and burning them. So what I think is going to make this build actually work is the Vampiric Powers, which are new in Season 2. So the Vampiric Power that I looked at here, Moonrise, this gives you basic skill, attack speed. Well, it gives you attack speed when you hit an enemy with a basic skill, 4% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So that's 20% at max stacks. And that should be pretty much instantaneously easy to stack. Um, and then when you do get to that max stack, you get a Blood Rage effect, which gives you 150% basic skill damage and 15% move speed. So what I'm imagining is that this extra damage here is going to boost the burning damage on Firebolt, which is what we really care about. Um, and if that does, then hopefully this will be doing an insane amount of burning damage, or at least that's what I'm hoping. So this is pretty much the basis of what I'm planning my build on. Obviously, if I get there and I test it and it sucks, then I won't be using this. We'll switch it up, but this is what we're going to start out with. So we have this power here too, which gives me 60% increased dot damage to enemies that are moving or affected by a curse. So the curse is a new effect in Season 2, and the way I understand it is that This curse is procced by other powers, which I have 2 of right here. And when this curse is on an enemy, when they die, they'll give you a soul, and that soul will do damage whenever you use a defensive skill. So what I understand is that the curse does not have a duration on it. At least that's what it says from the. Well, it doesn't say on this little bit here. It doesn't say like there's any duration or anything. So I'm assuming once you have a curse on something, it'll stay there until it dies, which will mean that I have extra dot damage that whole time, as well as access to vulnerable, since this power here gives you vulnerable to enemies that are affected by Vampiric Curse. And the way the build is set up right now, I don't really have access to vulnerable. The way Sorcs mostly get vulnerable, from what I understand, is through like the frost abilities and frost powers or frost enchantments. But I'm mostly going to be relying on this instead, um, which um, gives me more skill points to just focus on all of my fire and burning damage. So I'm hoping that that curse does stay on the whole time, so that I can just have free vulnerable pretty much. And then I'm getting the proc from this power, which gives me a chance to afflict Vampiric Curse and spread it. And then this one, which gives my Hydras a chance to afflict enemies with Curse. And then the other effects from these also just increase damage. This increases the soul damage, which I don't really know how much it does, but I guess we'll find out when we get there. Um, but yeah. So these powers, I pretty much built around, I would say these powers here. And we'll have to see how good they are. So let me just take a quick look at the skill tree. I maxed out Firebolt since this is supposed to be one of my main sources of damage. And then this Glinting Firebolt here did get changed to no longer require crit. Instead, it just gives you a flat extra burning damage once you cast Firebolt on an enemy, which is very nice because now you don't have to stack crit strike chance, which does absolutely nothing for burning or a dot build. Um, so that's a nice little boost to Firebolt. I'm running Frostbolt for the Chill enchantment, which I'm mostly using for this Vampiric Power. Um, also just to have extra CC, so some extra slow, so I can kite stuff. And then also I'm running it for the control glyph here. Since this glyph does give you a lot of extra damage, I wanted to find a way to sneak in like chill, frozen, slow, or stun, and I felt like this is probably one of the easiest ways to do it, so we're going to throw that in there for now. I'm not running any of the core skills or any of these passive branches here. I'm running 3 defensives since I have a lot of extra skill points. I didn't really know what else to throw them in, so I think 3 defensives will be pretty useful. I'm maxing out Hydras for the extra burn damage. Since the burn damage scales off Hydra base damage, you want as much ranks into Hydra as possible. They also buffed Hydras from 12 to 60%. So this will be at about, I think, 70%-ish base damage instead of 22, which is a very nice boost. So we're going to see how good Hydras are now. I'm running Lucky Hit Chance for the Firewall proc, as well as the Vampiric Curse procs. I have a lot of Lucky Hit with the way the build is set up right now, so I'll see if I end up needing that much or not when we get there. Extra damage while I have Hydras active. I have the aspect to give me 2 Hydras, so I'll be getting 6% extra damage. And then just some free DR here. Pyromancy skill damage here. Immobilize. This is just good for CC, so I can kite and take less damage. I'm running Firewall for the Firewall enchant. I have 5 points into it because I believe this scales, the damage of this scales off of how many ranks you have into this, so I wanted to max it out. And then I wanted to include Firewall for this skill point here, which gives you 25% increased burning damage for stuff in your Firewall, which is a lot of extra burning damage. So we'll see how good this ends up being. I'm taking Hoarfrost because I do have the chill from Frostbolt enchantment, so I do get access to this 9% extra damage, which is pretty nice. And then this is not important. This is a nice boost to burning damage while stuff is burning, which is all the time, so it's free damage pretty much. And then Warmth is good for sustain, and I'm also comboing this with Temerity to give me a barrier. And then for key passive, we're running Combustion for 20% increased burning damage. And then I have right now three different sources of unique burning, so I should be getting an extra 6% multiplied damage from the second part of the tooltip there. And then so for gear, I am running Might for DR while spamming Firebolt. Disobedience for extra armor, and this does go up to 66% now out of max roll, which is very nice. But they did nerf armor to not include non-physical DR, so it's not just the single best defensive anymore. I'm guessing you're going to need to be stacking your resistances in addition to armor. So we'll see. I'm assuming that just flat DR is going to be probably the best thing that you want to stack now instead of armor. We'll have to see when we get to T100 and start messing around with defensives and stuff. I'm running Engulfing Flames. This got changed to now it gives you multiplied damage now, I believe. Well, no, it always gives you multiplied damage, but now they changed the wording. So you get bonus damage while enemies are below 50%, and then an extra 80 to 100 if they are affected by more damage over time than their total life. So similar to how it was before, but now you have this extra statement here about the 50%, below 50%. So this kind of makes it into like an execute legendary where when stuff gets low, your dots are going to start ticking harder and harder and harder just to kill stuff faster. I think it'll be pretty good. I'm going to test it out and see. Temerity for the barrier, comboed with warmth. And then I'm also running a couple aspects that rely on me having a barrier, which is conceited, which gives me 25% damage while I have a barrier. And then 30% increased damage to vulnerable enemies while I have a barrier. So if the curse gives me perma-vulnerable, I'll be having 30% extra damage while I have a barrier. I'll have to see how good the barrier from this actually is in like a T100. I'm not sure how consistent the barrier will be, but like I said, that's something we'll have to test when we get there. On the boots, I'm running Lucky Hit Chance while I have a barrier, just to smooth out my procs even more. I don't know how much Lucky Hit Chance I'll need, but we'll see once I start messing around with stuff. I'm running a Wand and Focus combo for the extra aspect that you get. And then on the Wand, I'm running a 30% basic skill attack speed, just to boost how many Firebolts I could start spamming. Stats are very much subject to change, so I don't really want to go over them too much. The extra Hydra, just for extra Hydra damage, like I mentioned, and then I'm running Edge Masters. Since I should pretty much be close to full mana almost all the time, since I'm spamming Firebolt, this is just free extra damage. So that's it for aspects. And then the Paragon, I would say this is definitely going to change. So I probably won't go over it too much right now. The idea with the Paragon board though is like I'm just boosting my fire damage as much as possible. Um, I'm running exploit for extra vuln damage. Um, I'm running control for extra damage to crowd controlled enemies. So I have the vuln and crowd control bucket on top of all of my fire and burning damage. Um, and then this board here is pretty much just giving me extra fire damage and burn damage. I have the Pyromaniac glyph to boost my fire damage. This board pretty much the same. A lot of stuff that interacts with fire and burning. Some extra DR here and here. And then the Burning Instinct node. So this is the one I think that got changed from additive to multiplicative. Which you can see here. So yeah, now your burning damage deals bonus damage equal to 10% of the total amount of your crit strike damage bonus, plus times 1% for every 75% in intelligence you have. So now they added the multiplied on it, which means it's going to be giving you even more damage. So I think this is going to be really nice. And then this board is there to boost Hydras since there's not really a way to scale anything else. I think these boards are here for frost and uh, lightning damage, which I'm not really scaling with at all. So I think this board will be pretty good to scale my Hydras. Um, these clusters here give me Hydra damage, and then this legendary node got changed also. Instead of just giving you like the cooldown or mana cost reduction, it actually gives you damage now. So it boosts your Hydra damage by times 3% of the total amount of your bonus damage with cold, fire, and lightning. So the way I'm understanding that, it's going to total these three buckets here. It's going to total them and give you times 3 of that total, which is about 854% total right now. So I know that seems like it's going to be pretty solid. So I'm going to try it out. And then over here, this is kind of like a neutral board where it doesn't really go into specific elements. It just gives you non-physical damage and resistances. So I think this is a pretty good starting plan as far as Paragon goes. I'm obviously going to tweak stuff as I get there. But yeah, I think this is more or less a good general high level overview of what I'm going for with the build. Um, Like I mentioned, if the firebolt doesn't seem to be working out, I am going to stick with fire, and I'm probably going to end up trying, I think I'd be interested in trying out like a fireball or meteor build. So we'll see. But I think this build is going to be doing a pretty decent amount of burning damage. Now that they changed some of the buckets and interactions. Especially this node here. This is going to give you a lot more damage than it currently does. So I'm excited to get in there and try it out and see what we got. So yeah, I think the plan for Season 2 right now is I'm going to level to 100, obviously. We're going to clear T100s. I'm going to kill Uber Lilith. We're going to make a leveling guide, a T100 guide, and an Uber Lilith guide. And then outside of that, depending on what other content they added, we will check that out and I'll probably post videos about it. Like I think they added new bosses or something. I'm not sure. Um, and then I also might post like a few dungeons I do while I'm leveling, just so you guys can see like what the build is, how the build's working and whatnot. Um, so yeah, I would expect more or less kind of the same stuff that I did with the rogue, um, and we'll go from there. I don't really have any plans to do a second class as of now. I think that'll be something I evaluate like once I do everything I want to do on the Sorc, and we'll see how the game's feeling. We'll see how good the new content is and how fresh it makes the game feel. But for now, I'm only really planning to do one class. Um, if there's anything you guys want to see on the Sorc, like as far as like a fire build goes, let me know, and I can maybe try to do something with that. Um, Also, let me know what class you guys are planning to play, and what builds you guys are planning to use. It's always cool to see what everyone else is doing, so do let me know what you guys are planning to go with. And I think for now that's pretty much it. I would definitely expect one of the first videos to just be like a leveling, like me leveling, or maybe like the leveling guide. Not sure. Probably one of those two. Um, I do want to thank you guys for sticking around. Those of you that did stick around and stay subscribed while I wasn't posting anything, I really do appreciate it. Um, I know a lot of people stopped playing this game, like during season one. I don't know, it just got pretty stale. Yeah, it's pretty nice to have new stuff to be able to jump back in and actually make the game feel exciting again. So we're gonna dive back into season two. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, and I will be talking to you guys soon. Bye.